Hello, everyone. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1059 of One Piece. Actually, very excited to get into this one. It addresses a major issue from the previous chapter, and then we get a whole slew of really good content in this chapter. So I can't wait to dive in. If this is your first time on this channel, or you've been here before but haven't done so already, please be sure to drop a like, share, subscribe. Would mean the absolute world to me, and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get into the review. Oh, I forgot one thing. I tested and got my fourth degree black belt. So for the people that wish me luck and said, I hope you get it, I got it. And here's a really cool clip before I start.
Same technique that they did, but all the way through. Don't just hit it first. I want to see your technique. I want to see your technique.
All right, 1059 of One Piece, the Captain Koby Incident. This chapter was great. So we start off with the cover photo, and it is Oven and Katakuri fighting each other. It looks like the gas that Caesar used was some kind of hallucinogenic that makes you turn against your allies. So that was really cool. Didn't know he had something like that up his sleeve. So that was kind of, trippy to see. Glad that, like I said, my little prediction of, Caesar going with the Germa worked out. He's worked with them, well, not with them, but with Judge before. So there is kind of a, relationship previously established there that makes it make sense that, they would ally themselves with each other and get off this island, right? So anyway, getting back to the actual chapter, let's get the two most boring parts out of the way. I wouldn't say this is boring, but compared to what happens later, it blows it out the water. So Marco is aboard the Red Hair Shanks pirate cruise ship, right? And apparently I guess obviously from the Conqueror's Hockey class, Marco with the Whitebeard Pirates and the Red Hair Pirates have probably clashed several times. He probably recognizes Shanks's aura, could possibly probably hear, Shanks's voice the same way that what's his name, Green Bull could hear Shanks's voice, and so decided to hitch a ride with them. It looks like they're on really good terms to the point where even it wasn't Shanks, but I believe another crewmate asks Marco, "Hey, why don't you join our crew?" However, Marco says he's too old for this shit and decides and says, "Nah, I'm good. It's time for me to retire. I can't continue to babysit you new gen pirates." And I thought it was kind of interesting that he said that he's too old because he's 45 while Shanks and his crew are probably in their are like 39. So they're either in their late 30s or in their 40s themselves. And then you have someone like Jinbei who's 46 who's on Luffy's crew and is still, kicking. But to be fair, Jinbei is a fishman, so maybe his, vitality and stuff isn't as affected at the age of 46 and he's a little bit more spry at that age. Who knows? But I thought that was a really weird, interesting, pop out. But honestly, I was shocked to find out that Marco was 45. Like, he looks young. Like, I thought he was in his 30s. So that was kind of crazy to me. I thought he was, just like a decade or so older than Ace. So I don't know. That tripped me out. Another part of the chapter that, I'm not going to say I really enjoyed, but I thought was really necessary was finally getting the flashback, the off-screen moment where Yamato decides she's not going to join the crew. And basically the reason for that is simply because someone needs to stay back and protect Wano from outsiders, right? And so I am so glad that Oda put this in, even though I'm not gonna lie, it feels kind of like, a what's the word I'm looking for? Damage control from the reaction from last chapter because people just weren't having it, and I just don't understand why it couldn't have been done more subtly. But basically, she decided she needs to stay back. People like Aramaki are going to try and invade Wano all the time now that Kaido is gone, and Aramaki was just the first wave of potential infiltrators, potential colonizers, if you will. So it's good for her to stay there and protect. But I do like the idea that, the Straw Hat Pirates are welcome to her joining the crew at any point. Maybe, there's going to come a time and point where someone else comes to the island that they trust and is powerful enough to defend it. And then she can be like, all right, cool. I'm going to go join the Straw Hats. Something I really like about this is it's something I actually predicted earlier. I said repeatedly that one of Odin's mistakes, if you will call it a mistake, because this is a series that's about freedom at the end of the day. But one of his, mistakes was the fact that he left Wano, and like technically, like it's not fair to do this, but technically one could blame Odin for all of what happened to Wano. If Odin was there, he probably could have defended Wano from Kaido. We saw from their fight that Odin had the ability to take out Kaido at that point in time. So if Odin was there from the jump to the protect and defend Wano, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And so back in the day when we were still deciding, is Yamato gonna join, is she not, I was always of the opinion that I would be totally cool with her not joining if one of the reasons was, she understands that one of the mistakes Odin made, if she wants to continue to do the whole Odin thing, one of the mistakes Odin made was leaving Wano and letting a terrible force come in. So I thought it was kind of nice, like it really helped us out as fans for Oda to include this. He even mentions the fact that like, why didn't we say anything earlier? And it was because we wanted to it kind of covers his ass. Whether this is the truth or not, I'm cool with it being in there. It covers his ass that like, oh, I can't. We're gonna make up something to tell Momo, and that's why the readers got. Oh, I wanna explore Wano. That bullshit. So like, we knew it was bullshit at the time, whether it was intentional or not. Now it doesn't matter. Oda has like written it into the continuity that like this, so it makes sense. So yeah, cool with that. It's just really weird, especially after that scene where like Yamato does try to defend Armaki and makes Yamato like stay out of the fight. But it just brings more sense and realism to the fact that like, yeah, I know you're a kid. Like Momo's a kid. He's gonna be optimistic. He's gonna, hope things work out. He's gonna think I can defend this place without Luffy. But the fact of the matter is, he can't. He's still mentally young, at heart. He has the appearance of an adult, but he's not one. The people in Wano, as strong and determined as they are not capable of, you know, defending against the Kaido level threat. That's just the unfortunate reality of things. Anyway, next up, we get to the absolute best part of the chapter, and it is the invasion of Amazon Lily. Sorry about that. So we get to Amazon Lily, and something that I noticed immediately while, I'm sorry, I'm having so many brain farts. It's late, and I wanted to get this chapter review out ASAP because I have work in the morning. So anyway, I apologize. Boa Hancock. I was stalling for the name. Anyway, we see Boa Hancock, and she's, honestly, she doesn't look that distressed, and like, she's full of, her usual spirit, and she's like, man, these attacks have been rough. Maybe they're gonna keep coming here as long as I stay here, but I don't know where I would go. Maybe I should go and marry Luffy. And I just love how she turns a bad situation into a good one. And then the former empress is like, "You say that all the time." But something that actually concerned me was Boa Hancock had bandages on her head. So for someone that powerful to actually be bandaged up, it looks like shit has not been sweet for her. Like this is an actual war. Like she's taking actual damage. She's actually getting hurt. So that's kind of scary. We immediately see this figure with wings shooting a blast, and these are the new Pacifista. And honestly, I was thinking they were all going to look like Kuma, but we find out something towards the end of the chapter. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more so at the end of the chapter, right? So we have the Marines attacking. I think the one guy is Yamakuji. He was around during the Impel Down. No, sorry, not Impel. Was it Impel Down? Maybe Impel Down. But he was definitely around during Water 7. And then we have Koby here, and he's, being the Koby that we all know and love, and he's trying to de-escalate the situation and be like, look, just turn yourself in. We promise we won't do harm to your island or your people, and we will just, we're just gonna like Kobe's nice, but like I don't trust Marines. But like I trust Kobe, but it's like the one good cop. But like I don't trust your organization, so no, I'm not gonna just go to jail. But he's like, we'll leave you guys alone. You just come in, we'll treat you well. But Boa is like, I will never ever let myself be enslaved. And if you remember, the history of Boa, her and her sisters were slaved as kids for years. So I totally get her being like, hell fucking no, I'm not gonna, freely put myself into bondages. Fuck that. So honestly, I respect the hustle, right? And so we get a real big plot twist, and my man Blackbeard shows up. It's insane. However, it appears as though he's not here to help Boa Hancock. He's not here to recruit her. It looks like he's purely here because he doesn't think that her devil fruit power should be in the hands of the Marines, and he wants it himself. We still don't know how this man is able to steal devil fruits or do any of that, but he's here to get Boa Hancock's, and obviously that cannot happen. Anyway, Boa Hancock. Actually, before I get into that, actually no, I'll go ahead and say what I was gonna say. So anyway, Boa Hancock uses her love beam, and basically turns pretty much all of the Marines and all of Blackbeard's crew into stone, right? And I think she's about to, do her final move or like kill them or whatever. But, Blackbeard acts quickly, uses his black hole to grab her and stop her from using her powers, right? Now, he originally wanted to kill her, which is freaking awful. Also, I love how Oda decided to see if he could slip some like PG-13 in because one of the members of Blackbeard's crew, and I wish I knew their names better, but the disgusting looking one with the big nose and his tongue sticking out is like, wouldn't it be more fun if we kept her alive? And I was like, oh snap, Oda's out here alluding to some big boy pants stuff. He's talking about grape, if you know what I mean. So I was like, Jesus, that's pretty dark place for One Piece to go, but One Piece has gone to dark places, so I digress. But but yeah, he grabs him and he's like, "Look, I need you to turn these guys, like out of stone." And she's like, "Why would I do that? You would just, you're gonna kill me. And also, if you kill me now, they're gonna be stuck as stone." And we learn more about her devil fruit. And honestly, she could be lying though. I don't know if we're learning more about her devil fruit, but she could be lying. But we're told essentially that if he kills her, they're gonna be stuck as stone forever. And even if he does inherit the Mero Mero Nomi, I think that's what it's called. That even the new user won't be able to undo the previous user's stone. So I thought that was interesting. Also, by the way, I know I just said she could be lying, but I do feel like she might have said something earlier on about that particular trait of the fruit back when we first met her. Also, we get their new bounties. I believe Boa Hancock's is like 1.33 billion, and Blackbeard's is like 3.6 billion. I remember being kind of shocked because I believe it is higher than Luffy's and being like, oh, okay, interesting. So yeah, those are the new bounties for them. Something I really, really want to touch on before I get to the very end is the two pacifistas we see have very, very uncanny appearances. One apparently looks like Boa, and another looks like either King or Mihawk. I'm thinking Mihawk because the pacifista had a. I remember seeing us like the sword and being like, that reminds me of Yoru, even though I don't think it's Yoru at all. I think it's built to be kind of similar to Yoru, but it definitely looked like a huge ass sword with a huge cross guard and all that stuff, right? And so also, I immediately was attracted to the wings. And while I was looking at the wings, I saw the fire and I was like, Lunarians? Also, they call them the Seraphims, right? And Seraphims, I believe, are like young angels. I've watched a lot of like anime where they use Seraphims and stuff like that. And they're usually younger angels. Sometimes they're just angels. Maybe I'm just putting the young because, the specific ones we saw were young, right? But I was like, oh my god. So not only originally, before I realized at the end of the chapter where they're talking about how it looked like Boa, right? I was thinking, okay, they took the DNAs of some of Lunarians, and I guess grew clones and made cyborg Lunarians. But now it seems as though they literally meant when they said that the the pacifistas, the science group or whatever, that when they were going to replace the Shichibukai, they literally meant replace the Shichibukai. I wouldn't be surprised if there were little chibi android versions of all the previous warlords. So that is something I'm looking extremely forward to seeing. So far, we have Boa Hancock, we have Mihawk, and then we have Kumas. Well, the real Kuma is back with the revolutionaries, right? But yeah, wouldn't be surprised if during their time as warlords, every time that they were forced to, go somewhere or be somewhere or fight against, the Marines' enemies, maybe someone was collecting their DNA anytime blood was spilt or shed. They took it anytime, they came to a social event, engagement that the Marines forced them to, their hair was stolen or something like that. I don't know. I'm spitballing on ballparking because it kind of is weird to me personally for it purely to be them in appearance, that they just modeled the androids after their appearance. I feel like some way or shape or form that their DNA as well as their moves and abilities were recorded and given to them. Also, we've known for a long time that the Marines and Vegapunk have been doing experiments. We know that they had King for a really long time. We know that they had Kaido for a really long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if, more Lunarian stuff showed up, more possibly involvement with Kaido showed up from the time that he was, imprisoned and experimented on as well. So that is honestly incredible. Anyway, during this Mexican standoff, if you will, the homie Dark King Riley shows up and he immediately basically tells, everyone present, Boa, Koby, Blackbeard, hey, release everyone from Stone. I will take care of all of this. I will get rid of the Marines, right? And so obviously when Dark King Riley talks, everyone listens, right? And so it's pretty much resolved. She destones everyone, and it looks like pretty much everyone goes their own ways. Also, a big, massive reveal we find out is Shaki, the woman from, was it Baroque Works? Not Baroque Works, but she owned a bar during the Alabasta saga, and we then later on found out that she is the wife of Silver Israeli. She was the empress of Amazon Lily 2 generations ago. So that was insanely wild. And I still also believe, that she also may have been a member of the Rocks Pirates as well. So I can't wait to see just how much more this lore intertangles and intertwines, and how much we start seeing, because this character from so long ago is completely relevant again. And we even get a little bit of power scaling where she says, I don't know if the current me at this level would be able to take on Blackbeard. And so we can kind of assume that, yeah, Blackbeard is a little bit stronger than her, but she's up there as well. Also, speaking of Blackbeard and power scaling, I noticed, I think what it was, either somebody attacked him. I forget who exactly attacked him. But when he was attacked, he holds up his arm and it's completely black. So there answers everyone's questions. If Blackbeard can use hockey, apparently he can. So interested to see how much hockey he can use, which hockeys he can use, and what level he can use them at. So that'll be interesting. Also, another super interesting. This is like the last thing, I think. Well, second to last thing. Um, he says something about liking Koby because of his actions during Marineford. It allowed him to oust Ochaku, one of those names. And at first I forgot who that was, but then I realized it was another member of the Rocks Pirates. So interesting. We are just getting a lot of lore, a lot of history connections, and I am super here for it. Also, speaking of me saying Blackbeard said that he liked Koby or was grateful to Koby for helping him oust Okaku. I love how when Silver's Riley just shows up, he's like, "Oh, um, Rogers, Rogers' disciple or something like that." I know this is messed up for me to say, but I never liked you. And I can just imagine because, Riley's is kind of deadpan. So I can imagine him just saying that, like, not trying to be petty, not trying to be, spicy, but like, I'm just keeping it real. I don't fuck with you. So that was cool to me. Anyway, I'm going to leave the review off on this note. Apparently, Koby has been captured. Now, it's a little fucked up, it's a little messed up, and I love Silver's Riley, but I think I kind of understand what happened here. After he, got everyone unpetrified and got the Marines to leave, Blackbeard was like, I'm taking Koby, and I don't think so Riley found it, worth fighting Blackbeard over a fucking Marine. Like, as messed up as that sounds, because we like Koby, we know Koby. Riley doesn't know this dude. Riley doesn't know this. He's just a Marine, and he's a pirate. So why would he? It's the natural, cycle of things, the natural course of things, right? So unfortunately, our boy Koby has been kidnapped by apparently Blackbeard. Now, is that true? I don't know. We don't know the source. We don't know if it's reliable or not. But as of this moment, yeah, that's what I'm just going to be assuming. So that's crazy. One thing I didn't mention that I actually loved in this chapter was that there's a massive picture of Luffy just like plastered in the middle of Amazon Lily, and that shit is cool. But yeah, man. Favorite takeaway from the chapter, minus the reveals and getting to see Dark King Riley and finding out Shaky was the previous Empress and all this stuff, was the fact that these pacifistas mean business. They are powerful. They split a big chunk of the island. They're going to be a problem. And these are only two of the pacifistas. And if my prediction is right, there's going to be a child version of each of these pacifistas, aka Seraphims, somewhere. And also, they're called Seraphins. So maybe there's also different versions of them. Maybe they have chibi versions. Maybe they have teen versions. Maybe they have adult versions. My guess for the reason as to why they're chibi is, like I said, once again, maybe they took their DNA from the previous warlords and were like growing clones. And the reason it took so long was because they had to get of age. Maybe there was some artificial aging involved, but for the most part, they got them to this level and then mixed their DNA with Lunarian DNA, and this is the result. Honestly, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video, maybe I won't, but this is a really exciting time to be a One Piece fan. Anyway, thank you guys for staying tuned. Thank you for watching. I really hope you liked and appreciated this video. Anyway, take care. This has been chapter 1059 of One Piece, and this has been Otaku Talk with your boy, your host, OD. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.